Our most Bowman Buy-Hold-Sell candidates in an episode to date, prospects who are back that many people counted out for so long, the most Instagram AMA questions that I answer in any episode, all the biggest prospects who are crushing the ball, including two of the big favorites and new names, my favorite picks from my Bowman Value Buys video that I dropped last week, and who I'm fading in the top 100, plus so much more. This is episode 6 of your MLB Prospect Show, The Farm Report. Guys, thank you so much. I am not feeling well. I'm under the weather, but the baseball season does not stop, so I don't either, and I cannot wait to talk about all these guys and how excited you all have been, not just on Instagram, but in the 2TB Insiders Discord. If you want to become an insider, check the link in the description. But everyone's been excited about this episode, and I'm super excited to give it to you, and I'm not stopping. So we have all of that to get to. This show, as I mentioned in the intro, is focused on you. I've spent a lot of time in the last episodes on my cover stories, prospect profiles, things of that nature at the end of the episode that I've kind of cut short the Instagram AMA. I'm not doing that today. I have the most Instagram AMA questions, the most Bowman Buy-Hold-Sell candidates that all come from you guys. Again, the two big insiders have first option to give me those names, and then I go to Instagram as well. But more of a reason to join the insiders. We're talking prospects all day in Discord, and you get first opportunity to get prospects on the show that you want me to talk about. All of that we'll get to, but you guys know we start off with quick hits, and we'll do our player of the week at each level. So let's do it. First up, Alfredo Duño. Now, I talked about him all offseason, but I haven't talked about him enough this season. But he is crushing the ball. 274, 418, 533 slash, 9 homers, 37 games. That's crazy. What's also crazy is a quarter of his fly balls leave the park. 25%. That's amazing. His contact rate is up since A-ball. He made my future top 15 this offseason. He made my top catchers list, a couple other singular list write-ups that I wanted to include him on. So he will be talked about more in this show because he is a To The Bigs favorite, and that is for certain. Next up, 2 middle infielders that are crushing the ball. Franklin Arias, still, and Luis Pena. Back from that scary injury where he had to go to the hospital mid-game. I think everything's okay now. He's back. He's hitting the ball well. Expect him to move up quickly as well. He had that contact rate from last year, well up from last year. And if we continue to see that, he is someone who could be one of the bigger aggressive movers up lists, including mine, where he just missed that future top 15 list, just missed my top 10 in terms of middle infielders. But he'll shoot up if that contact rate keeps looking the way it's looking. Some To The Bigs favorites that are still crushing the ball. Mike Sirota, he just got called up to AA. It's time for AAA. The only reason that he's behind right now is because of the injuries. He's already 23. He will do a short stint in AA, quick stint in AAA, and possibly give the Dodgers a run for their money in that starting lineup later on this year. Josh Adamszewski, 1.38 OPS, 1-to-1 K to walk ratio, and will be 21 soon and is already creeping up on AA. This is a kid, 15th rounder. I've called out in almost all my videos. If you follow To The Bigs, you know we're big Josh Adamszewski fans. So keep an eye out for him. He will be moving fast through that system because he is a fantastic hitter. Next up, the opposite, 2 monster power bats, Caleb Bonner and Xavier Isaac. Both we've called out a ton. Both big fans of going into this year. Xavier Isaac has 12 homers, and most importantly, the K rate has dropped 10%. to 35%, which is crazy, over the past 2 weeks. Caleb Bonner, 15 homers, and the K rate's sitting around 35%. Both have to get down. Like, the K rate's got to drop regardless, but they're both looking really, really good, and the power is not lacking, and they're making enough contact that the K rates are justifiable for now. Next up, Roldy Brito. Again, we covered as a prospect profile on one of our past episodes, I think episode 2 or 3, and he's my #1 chase in the 2026 Bowman Baseball. So congrats to all you guys that are hitting him. He's one of the rare holds out of a release that I would say. And he's 19 in A-ball, 337 average, 15% K rate. Came over from Complex and DSL League and has performed better in A-ball. Baseball America just put him in the top 100. They're catching up. I'm glad they found out who Roldy Brito is, but keep an eye out. He is going to move fast as well. Finally, how about someone who's struggling? Because we don't just want to call out the guys that we are hitting on, but the guys we are not hitting on at the moment. Bryce Rayner. Now listen, I've gotten a lot of responses from you guys concerned. Yes, he's struggling. The K rate's like near 45-50%. He needs time. He's coming back from a shoulder injury. If you watch the tape, there was someone who did a really good comparison of last year to this year before he got injured. You can tell the swing is a bit longer. He's trying to get a lot of power behind the swing this year, probably to justify and make up for the time lost. And because of that, he's late, he's swinging and missing, he's chasing, getting way more aggressive. So let the Tigers do what they do with these hitters and let them develop him. So just give it a little bit of time. He will work through it. He's already still very young. So just give Rainier time, hold on to him. He's doing just fine. Next up, this kid made both my Bowman Value Buys Part 2 that I just released on YouTube last week and my June call-ups list, where I predict he'll get called up and perform really well. And that's Cole Carrig of the Colorado Rockies. He is raking the ball like a 1200 whatever OPS, hitting the ball like 320, 330 average. He will be up there very soon. The Colorado Rockies will have an opening in that outfield. I know they just had an injury and they called up Starling Thompson or whoever it is. That won't last long, and they're probably going to trade one of those hot hitters at the deadline to capitalize and build that team with youth, which they need. Cole Carrig will have a spot and he will perform well. Give it June, and I'm thinking early June. Next up, Jason Churio. Since AA, he's performed really well, which is impressive. 18% K rate. Overall, he has 900 OPS, 2 homers, 21 RBI, 10 stolen bases. Again, was hurt all last year. The power, again, 2 homers, doesn't justify it, but the OPS is high. The slugging percentage is fairly solid, and he's just hitting the ball and doing what he does best and getting on base. Next up, a name I haven't mentioned much because the Dodger system is insane, but he's one of the hottest hitters in the league, and I almost made him one of my prospects of the week, but someone else just beat him. Kellen Lindsey, second baseman for the Dodgers. 455, 486, 727 slash, 1 homer, 5 RBI, 15 hits in 7 games. Now, the power is just never going to be there, but I'm pretty sure this guy can steal like 80 bases in the season. He's like almost Chandler Simpson level, but he has a little more pop than Chandler Simpson. So there is some upside there, but obviously it's a deep system. Keep an eye out, but really good young player who is absolutely crushing the ball. The opposite, someone who's in AAA and ready for the bigs, made my June call-ups list, Blaze Jordan. The reason why he's supposed to get called up is not because he's hitting 320, not because he has the power and the slugging and everything that he's done for such a long time in the minors. It's because he has a 30% hard hit rate and a 10% K rate. When you have a 10% K rate in AAA and you're hitting the ball consistently, getting on base and hitting for power, it's time. You're ahead of AAA. So again, I know he's not ideal in the field. You can get him in at first base. You can get him in as a spot starter at DH as well. Almost like Cooper Engel, where I get a lot of crap from Guardians fans, which was insane. I posted about Cooper Engel, and they defended Patrick Bailey to the end of the earth, where Patrick Bailey is an elite defender, but a 400 OPS, a 130 average, like, come on. Same thing with Blaze Jordan. The competition's a little more fierce there, but he's hitting so well in AAA, it is time. Next up, Samuel Basallo. Now, I know he's in the pros already, but I wanted to call him out because, again, these rookies are important. They're still technically prospects from a little while ago, and a lot of you collect them. Now, I made Samuel Basallo my #1 prospect overall going into last season and this season, and I got a lot of hate for it because they compared him to McGonigal and Griffin and others. Now, I get it. Those guys are studs, and McGonigal overall, where you include the fielding as well, is probably the better player combined. However, at the plate, as a hitter, I said Samuel Basallo was #1, and because he hit 190 in 30-game stint last year, people counted him out, they brushed him off, and this is the larger area that I want to discuss. I'm going to pause the quick hits. But first off, he's got an 800 OPS, which is higher than McGonigal's, which is higher than a lot of the rookies, maybe 2 or 3 in front of him. But prospectors need to give kids time, not just on the call up to AAA or AA or single A, most importantly, the major leagues. These kids need time to adjust. 95% of them will have a slump, and it may not be right away where they crush, but then it may be 20 games in or 50 games in or 80 games in, and a lot of prospects would be like, this guy's terrible, how could you? I got comments on comments and comments about Samuel Basallo and how he was not a good hitter after 4 or 5 years in the minors, absolutely crushing the ball, struggled in 30 games, and everyone wanted to count him out. Now he's hitting, and even in the past 30 days, he's crushing the ball like 315 average, really getting on base. The Ks are going down. He's getting comfortable, and let me tell you, this is going to be, as I said before the last season, after last season, going into the season, and now. This is a 270, 280, 290 hitter with 40 homer potential, and he still is. This is a superstar bat. Now in the field, we'll see. But anyways, getting back to the quick hits. Next up, Caden Bodine. Now, I talked about Totten Gray and Cooper Fleming so much over the past few episodes and other outlets and videos, but Bodine was probably the most impressive in terms of actual on-field performance, and he got called up to A+, and he's performing very well. Now, I still like the other two better, but catcher prospect, great system. If you like Bodine better than the other two, no problem as well. In my personal opinion, I probably go Fleming, Gray, Bodine, but they're all really, really, really good young prospects for that team. Next up, speaking of value buys I talked about, here's two of my To The Bigs value buys from the past two videos, not just last week's, but the one this winter, where I covered a bunch of value buys. I think 15 in the first episode, 10 in the second, so go check those out on the channel. But first off, Devin Fitzgerald, you've probably heard him now, not just from To The Bigs. I've covered him for a while now, but everyone's talking about him. Top 100 prospect, top 75 prospect now. The power surge will come down a little bit, but it's going to be higher than what most expected. He'll be in AA soon, 1.021 OPS, 22% hard hit rate. Like I said, the power should settle, but more in the AMA, there's a question that relates to him that I will talk about later. Next, Jansel Louise. Now, he made my Bowman value buys from the winter and my Arizona Fall League watch list, where he actually performed very well there. He had 2 homers, 5 RBI in the game last week, and he's hitting the ball really, really well. Again, Arizona Diamondbacks can move up quickly. It's not the deepest system, and there's always opportunity to grow there. Some new names to watch. These are prospects I like to call out each week that I haven't named in previous episodes. First up, Michael Martinez, Atlanta outfielder, 20 years old, 1,243 OPS. Yeremy Cabrera, Washington Nationals, 1.06 OPS. The K rate is still in the 25% range, but he's in high A and young as well and raking the ball, so keep an eye out for him. And another Arizona Diamondback, Jose Mejia, 907 OPS, 17% K rate, 19% walk rate. We'd love to see that. So let's keep an eye out for those three guys. My first episode, I said keep an eye out for Totten Gray, who has now become a To The Bigs favorite. So one of these guys could as well. Keep an eye out. Next, I got a lot of questions about pitchers. I cover them, but I don't cover them as much as hitters. But let's do a quick pitcher run through on quick hits. First up, Cade Anderson, 58 Ks in 38 innings. Insane. Another great performance last week. He will be in the pros soon. The Mariners have a depth in the rotation, but they may look to trade somebody to open up space. I don't think Luis Castillo will last a while. Bryce Miller is going to be a stud, but they need Cade Anderson in that rotation at some point. Next up, Gage Jump. As I'm filming this, he will be making his debut tonight, so let's talk about him. But I always said, and during my 2026 Bowman coverage, that he was a mid-rotation upside type of prospect. So I don't know necessarily if he's this elite ace potential prospect, but really, really good college pitcher, like we said, pro ready, and that's why he made it up so quickly. Next up, Carson Milbrandt, Miami Marlins, AA, 63 Ks in 42 innings, a sub-3 ERA, one to keep an eye on. Anthony Ianson. Now, I know this is a guy who's been talked about all over social media. People are obsessed over him, and he got promoted to AA, 9 innings, 1 earned. His stuff is filthy. Again, people like to get ahead of themselves and jump guys up to top 5, top 10 prospects in their respective positions. I'm not there yet, but he's pitching really well, so let's keep an eye out for him. And finally, Tyler Bremner, under the radar for a number 2 overall pick, and I will get more into that in another question in the AMA. Like I said, there's so many good ones, but he is ace upside, not like what I talked about with Gage Jump. Tyler Bremner's ace upside, 18 innings, 12 Ks, 1.5 ERA, just getting started, but he is really exciting. I'll talk more about him soon. Okay, player of the week at each level. Now, this is since May 13th, and a lot of the guys I called out last week are still raking. Ralphie Velasquez, Mike Sirota, ones from the week prior, Braylon Payne. These guys are all hitting the ball extremely hard, so these guys should keep up with it, and these are not as obvious. First up, A and A+. I said Colin Lindsay was close. He only lost to Tyrone Lorenzo, another guy we'll talk about in an AMA. See, I'm tying everything together in this episode. Lorenzo crushed the past 2 weeks, and he started off struggling this year in in high A. But now, 333, 475, 767 slugging. In 2 weeks, which is 9 games, he has 4 homers and 11 RBI. So he is having an unbelievable past 2 weeks, and that is why he is my A and A+, and a guy who I like this year, always had contact issues, but has been injured, is super young for every level he's been in. So a guy that I think is a sleeper in that Tigers organization when you compare him to all these other guys that are in that org. Next up, AA, Josue De Paula, not a sleeper. Number 1 prospect for the Dodgers, number 2 or 3 overall in my books for To The Bigs overall, 362, 446, 638/. 2 homer, 14 RBI, and 9 extra base hits since May 13th. This kid is an absolute stud, superstar potential. Yordan Alvarez with speed who can play the field. Do they trade him? I don't know. One of those prospects is getting traded from the Dodgers, one of those outfield prospects where, again, they're going to have 5 of the 10 outfield prospects, top 10 outfield prospects in baseball. I think Davelin's off limits, and I think Sorota's off limits. DePaula may be the best one, but I do think they may kind of put him out there as someone who can be traded to get a huge haul back. But let's see. I hope wherever he goes that he plays soon, because he is one of the most exciting prospects, and I've liked him since we started To The Bigs when he was really, really young and was a kind of high-tool international signing. Finally, AAA. We just called him out in my June call-ups list, where I, again, check out tothebigs.com. It was a To The Bigs Insider exclusive that I just made available to everybody. He was one of my top 10 picks for call-ups in June that I think would be exciting. Yohandy Morales for the Washington Nationals. Since May 13th, 400, 438, 689 slash with 3 homers and 8 RBIs. This is a guy I did a profile on, I think like a year and a half ago. Really liked him. University of Miami, college kind of mature, developed hitter who put the ball in play consistently. Struggled a bit on and off when he got into the minors, but he's hitting really, really well, and he should make that pro team. They're competing, but this isn't a guy that they're calling up just to get some at-bats. Like, he could make an impact. He was a winner at University of Miami, and I think he can be one here too. Those are my quick hits and my players of the week. We have so much more coming. Bowman Buy-Hold-Sell and at Instagram AMA and so much more. I can't wait to get to all of that, but I wanted to talk about the To The Bigs Insiders. Again, if you join the Insiders, it's $4 a month or $30 for the year, and $30 for the year gets you exclusive content that's write-ups, analysis, just like my June call-up rankings. You get first look at all my content, so the To The Bigs Insiders will see this farm report first, as well as my value buys and all those other lists that I put out that get people excited about who to buy. You will know those first. And most importantly, you join the Discord. Right now, Discord has like 40 people. We talk prospects. You get first access to get prospects on the show, and we just have fun, recommendations. I do giveaways. I gave away 3 shirts, one right here. I gave away a Michael Arroyo PSA 9 Aqua at a 99 auto, great card, and I threw some other cards in for some other winners as well. I'll be giving giveaways, all of that. Join the To The Bigs community with the Insiders. Let's get to everybody's favorite segment, Bowman Buy-Hold-Sell. And I'm cruising here. I'm like losing my voice because I haven't been feeling good, but I'm so excited. Let's do it. These were guys that you guys gave me on Instagram and in the Discord. First up, Shotaro Mori for the for the Athletics. Now, $120 for a base auto. $120. I don't even have to tell you what I want to do from buy, hold, or sell, but I'm going to. That's a sell. I call this the prospector fallacy. Now, this is a To The Bigs trademarked name. It's not trademarked yet, so you can steal it, but don't. The prospector fallacy is one where when a release comes out, there are a few names in each one that people pump up or get excited about for no reason. Yes, there's a specific reason, but it's not because of anything that's valid. It was specifically pumped up because of the fact that he is a two-way Asian player. End of story. People want to find the next Ohtani because that changes the game. His values are through the roof of compared to any probably player in any sport, but especially baseball. But this is a guy who doesn't have the best tools at either as a hitter or a pitcher, and he hit 260 in Complex League. 260 in Complex League, and he's still going for $120 as a base auto. If you have one, sell it. If you are looking to buy one, don't. If you're holding it, sell it. Please, I promise you can get any prospect's first auto, including Eli Willits, who I called out last week as a sell because it was so high, but he is a prospect who's actually crushing the ball and has that upside. So you sell Maury, you get one of these other guys that I'm about to talk about. Next up, Jacob Reimer, New York Mets. Now, he made my top 10 corner infielders list. going into the season, and he struggled mightily to start the year. Now, the Mets are moving kids up fast. AJ Ewing, Morabito, Benj is up, obviously. He had a rough start, like I said, but in the last 9 games, 1.048 OPS, 1-to-1 walk to K, and 2 homers. He'll pick it up, and it's worth holding. I don't think this kid's going to be a star, but he's going to be a good everyday player for that Mets team at either first or third, and you can make a nice little profit if you hold on to him as he starts to pick up steam this summer. We'll be doing something fun with the Binghamton Mets in about 2 or 3 weeks, so stay tuned. But give him a hold. Hold on to him. Hold on. Do you hear that? I do. That is the Rainier Rodriguez tracker. We are back with phase 3 of the Rainier tracker. Now, if for those of you that are new here, I made a bold prediction that Rainier Rodriguez would jump up to a top 3 prospect, end the season in AAA where he started in high A, and have hit 35 homers in the minor league. So 35 homers up to AAA. And what he's done already is jumped up to AA 2 weeks ago, which was awesome, ahead of pace. Now he's up to 5 homers, which is not on pace yet. We're close, but we're not there. He needs to jump up and hit a couple homers. But again, what I love to see is he's hitting 900 OPS, 30% hard hit rate, 20% K rate, all in AA at his extremely young age. So he is on track to end up in AAA before he turns 21 and hopefully get a little hot this summer and start to hit some more homers. But 5 homers, 900 OPS, everything we want to see. One of my favorite prospects in the league. If you're looking for him, buy him. Really, really exciting. And others are catching up. He's jumping into a top 3, top 5 prospect across the board. Back to the Bowman Buy-Hold-Sell. Next up, Ryan Weidman of the San Diego Padres. Now I got 2 or 3 requests for him. And I've looked into him, but I never really dove deep. 4-year collegiate athlete, which I love. 6'4", which I love. 3rd round pick. Shows that he's got the upside, but that he could be a little bit of a sleeper. Now, he's having a nice true first pro year. I always call that like end of year, not really consider like a true pro year. Usually they get like 25, 30 games in, which is a solid sample size, but I want to see how they do with the first training camp, first introduction to the teams in that sense, and build up development and then start in the minor leagues. This year, 295 and 175 at-bats, 33 stolen bases, which is insane. He's fast. What I also like about him is that he plays a good outfield. So this is a guy who can be a center fielder in the major leagues. So fast, hitting well, and can play the outfield. The only downsides are he chases a lot, has a longer unorthodox swing. So the San Diego Padres, can they work with that and work on that with him? Maybe they already have, because his K rate's down from that half pro year debut. His K rate's down 10%, contact rate's up 11%, and his swinging strike rate is down 6%. So they're clearly doing something with his development, with his plate approach. And again, he does everything else so well. And if he can continue to, cut down on those chases, this is a really good player. I'm buying him because he has a $26 Bowman auto. That's a steal. Again, you can buy 5 of them for Shotaro Mori's, and I would take all 5 of them in the long haul as more value each than one of Mori's. So give me a buy. So we have Mori sell, Reimer hold, Weidman buy, and we have 2 more. How about the prospect that probably most of you are talking about more than anybody, Eric Hartman of the Atlanta Braves. Now, his first Bowman is $90. Unlike Mori, there's a reason why. He's one of the best prospects in terms of performance so far this year. 1,000 OPS, 27% hard hit rate. Yes, I know he's all the buzz. He just came out in 2026 Bowman, and he's crushing. So that premium is extremely high, double high, because of both of those situations happening at once, which only happens in Bowman Baseball Draft and Chrome are both released outside of the season. You have to take advantage of that premium. So I am a sell at $90. Even if he is consistent throughout this year, moves up the ranks, he's already got that massive premium where, again, I don't know if he jumps higher than $90, $100, even if he finishes as a top 30, top 40 prospect. He's already slowing down. He had a little bit of a last 2 weeks coming down to earth. I genuinely think he's playing above his tool set. I'm not saying he's not going to be a good pro baseball player, but he is not going to be a 1,200 OPS, 30% hard hit rate, not many swing and misses, power, all of that. He's just not. He could be a guy that has like an 850 OPS, hits for 270 average, hits like 19, 20 homers. Absolutely. But again, take advantage of the premium. Sell him now. You could always buy back in. You could get something else. You could probably upgrade color in that sense if you bought in the future. But for that price, you got to take advantage. Not many prospects get that type of hype and jump this early. Johan De Los Santos, 17-year-older for the Pittsburgh Pirates. $60 for his first Bowman. I'm not even going to tease it up. He's a buy. This is a kid as a 17-year-old. I don't like to take advantage. As we know, you guys know to the bigs by now, you don't buy in on international hype. You don't buy in on Dominican Summer League or Complex League performance. But this kid had a 5% K rate in the Complex League at 17 years old. That I could buy into over a good stretch, and an 86% contact rate. What he's doing this early is so impressive. That K rate being in the 5% range is insane, no matter what level you're at, no matter how old you are. He just got the call to A-ball, and he's actually hitting pretty well in like 2 games. Let's give him a longer, time there, but buy in, because unlike Hartman, this is a guy who's 17 years old. He could be like the next jump up minor league international guy that everyone wants to get in on, and they're too late on. Morey, sell. Reimer, hold. Weidman, buy. Hartman, sell. And De Los Santos, buy. Next up, Instagram AMA, and I'm really excited for this one because there's a lot of good ones. Let's do it. I am excited for this one because I want to make sure everyone knows I am all about Bowman. I love the card community, the prospecting. That's how a lot of this got started. But I want to make sure that all of you guys, not just the Bowman collectors, the baseball fans in general, MLB fans, and the Dynasty fantasy managers know that this is for them too. So we're going to do not Bowman Buy-Hold-Sell. We're going to do Dynasty Buy, Hold, or Cut. Let's do it. First up, I'm going to do 2 sets of this. First up, pitchers. Kendry Churio, Liam Doyle, or Jamie Arnold. Now, again, these are all from the Discord, so to the Bigs Insiders. Going to cut Arnold, hold Churio, and buy Doyle. Doyle is elite upside, ace potential. In Dynasty and Fantasy, you want to have one of those starting pitchers that is that kind of high of an opportunity, a high ceiling. Even if you miss on a few, you hit on one, that's worth it in those types of leagues. So I'm taking Doyle as that type of prospect. Now, Churio is one of those as well, but the risk is much, much greater. He's a shorter guy. We talked about this on my Bowman chases for 2026. He has an elite curveball, but his command issues are, again, he's very young, so that he's got plenty of time to work through them. And again, for that command and that size, there's not a lot of prospects, pitchers that have made it to an elite level at the majors, but Churio is already impressing, so he's much different. But again, I'll hold him for that upside as well. And then, like I said, I'm going to cut Arnold, and that's because he's having a tough time with command, but like the upside's not there too. So the upside isn't drastically insane, and the command issues are huge. He's getting behind in counts. He did it last year before he got drafted, and he was doing it after he got drafted, and now in the minors within A+ and AA, he's having massive command issues where he can't locate that fastball even, and then also the breaking balls, and he's getting way behind and then giving up runs, got like a 6.7 ERA. I know there's potential there and the tools are nice, but I'm not buying into it. So give me a buy on Doyle, hold Churio, cut Arnold. Next up, this is a impossible one, so someone's gonna get mad at me regardless, but let's do it. Max Clark, Aiden Miller, and Sebastian Walcott. Okay, so everyone knows how excited I am about Aiden Miller, so I'm going to buy him. And I'm buying him because you can get him for super cheap right now because of all those injuries. Now, again, you have to take those injury concerns into consideration with Dynasty, but if you have the potential to buy low on a kid who could be a 30-30 shortstop, that is who by like next year, that is someone who you have to take advantage of as a ready-to-go MLB bat once he starts getting going, which he's just started started baseball activities, as they call it, swinging a bat. So we'll see how quickly he can move, but the upside is tremendous there. I am holding Max Clark. I am a huge Max Clark fan. So the only reason why I'm buying Miller and holding Clark is I think Clark is performing well enough that premium is still really high. So hold him, whereas you could buy Aiden Miller for super cheap. Max Clark is going to see the pros this summer. He is again, similar 5-tool upside, great fielder, regardless of what spring training and the errors and issues, whatever. He's cocky, yes, but he's a good baseball player. And he's got 5-tool upside. And I like the type of prospect he is and how he could be an impact bat when he comes up. So I'm holding him, and I'm cutting Walcott. The injury is tough. It sets him back a long ways. He is still young for his levels, and he will be next year. But even then, the time will catch up to him with this injury. And I think he'll settle himself in AA next year and take some time before he has a chance of debuting. And again, he is super impressive. Toolsy, highest raw power and hit tool combined in all of the minors. But again, I'm taking the two guys in Miller and Clark, who will see the pros soon, who can have that upside as well, and you won't have to deal with that long wait, which I know dynasty managers sometimes don't mind. But again, you can always get some guys in the new years in drafts, first year player drafts. So buying Miller, holding Clark, cutting Walcott. I'm sorry for you Walcott fans. I still like him, but that's what I'm going with. Next up, a card question, which I also love too. PSA grading times and advice. Given the long waiting times, what's your advice on when to send and if you should send all your prospects? I just did a PSA order, and I don't buy much. I don't really do much now. I'm more focused on giving you guys the feedback and the recommendations without being biased. If I pick a player or buy a player, I don't want to have to hold that guy or anything. So I don't really do it much, but I had one from a while ago, and it took forever. Past the estimated completion time, I always like to look at the prices. They're going up. The prices are absurd. Back when 2020, when the pandemic, people were starting to get into it, I was I was bringing Bo Bichette base Topps Chrome rookies 10 at a time to PSA, because I think it was like $5-6 a card. It's like $26-27 a card to grade. So one, cut back, please. Not just that, a lot of people will send base autos, refractor autos of prospects who are kind of like hot right now or exciting. Don't do that. Guys who you have to send to PSA are guys who we call out here on the show long-term buys or holds. What I mean by that is, if you're sending one in now, you're not getting it back this season. So if you're sending a prospect card now, get one that you are going to hold into 2027. Because even if you want to sell them in spring training in 2027 or the season of 2027, you do it now, you'll get it back later on this summer, and you'll be ready to go by the winter and the fall and the winter next year. So cut back, be very selective, higher value cards of the right prospects that you are holding long term. Don't send the prospect who you would hope to flip because he's hot right now, or you want to hold on to him because he's hot. Eric Hartman, not to call out the name from the Bowman Buy-Hold-Sell, but sending one of those in right now when you could sell at a premium. Again, if you're a fan of him and you're a Braves fan or anything, be my guest. Card collecting is all about what you want to do. I just like to provide recommendations based off probabilities, metrics, and what you can do to maximize your potential to make money. But be selective. If you're sending bulk now, make sure they're for 2027. That's my advice. And if you're buying off eBay, I saw a lot of conversations about this. Assume you're getting a PSA 9. Do not buy a raw card on eBay assuming that it's going to be a 10. You assume it's a 9, hope for a 10. If it is, great, awesome. Next up, Mackenzie Gore deal. The reaction from that. Was it a good deal for the Nats? And do you think the Nats development, given some of the ups and downs they've had, can do the right thing with that trade? Now, obviously, everyone likes this trade. I loved this trade before Devin Fitzgerald became Devin Fitzgerald. And I like Devin Fitzgerald. As I talked about, he made my value buys. He made my Bowman Chrome top chases in 2025. So I was always a big fan of him. But now, with Fitzgerald rising fast and being a prospect who could be a impact playmaker, everyday player in the bigs, it makes it even better. Obviously, they got him. Obviously, they got Gavin Feen, who was the centerpiece of that deal. They got Abelmek, I can never say his name right, Ortiz, who's hitting well and has some nice upside. And a lot of people forget, they got Alejandro Rosario, who it was one of my favorite pitching prospects before he had Tommy John last year, but he'll be back next year. And this is an ace potential guy, which is crazy because he's on the Rangers with David Davalillo and Caden Scarborough. And they have a lot of pitching prospects in that organization. And I really, really like Rosario. So that deal is fantastic. Now, in terms of their development, I know people say things with Cruz, but look what they've done with James Wood. Look what they've done with CJ Abrams. Look what they've done with Lyle. Look what they've done now, how Willits is looking. I know they've had some ups and downs with some of these guys, but the Nationals are playing well this year. They said that they were competing. They were making these moves to be a team in 2028, like be a high profile team 2028. And they've done that. Rosario will be up as a front end starter for them Willits will be up. I know he's not part of this deal. Fitzgerald will be up well before. Gavin Feen could be up in 2028. So I think the deal's fantastic. The development needs to be given credit because this Nationals team has turned around and they don't have all of the talent, but they are developing that team into a group of players that can win games. Next up, I really like this one. A prospect that people gave up on who's back. Now, I'm going to give you a full list of them, but obviously Ethan Salas, and that's including me. Ethan Salas was number one. I counted him out, and again, we didn't give up quickly. I don't think anybody did. Over 1,300 at-bats. He had a long time, and again, he was super young. Elite defensive glove, just like Patrick Bailey. Can he continue this throughout the stretch of the year in that how well he's doing in AA? That's 100%. So I would consider him one. Next up, these are all different in different ways. So I mentioned him before in my pitchers on the quick hits. Tyler Bremner, he was just drafted last year, so how was he counted out? He was a number 2 overall pick. Some have said he was overdrafted. Some have said it was the least exciting number 2 draft pick ever. Why? Because Kate Anderson was taken right after. Because Seth Hernandez was taken several picks later by the Pirates. So when you have 2 guys like that who are top tier elite pitching prospects, people will say, well, the Angels didn't pick right here. And maybe they didn't. And the Angels do not have a great track record over the past decade of picking and developing prospects. But Tyler Bremner's really good. This is an ace upside pitcher who right now is elite at 2 pitches, fastball and changeup. His changeup is deadly. He's trying to develop that slider, and if he does, he becomes that ace potential prospect who can hit the pros next year and be a dynamic front end rotation piece, possibly an ace. So I'm saying that he's been counted out and that people are starting to get back onto him as they see him pitch. Next up, 2 power hitters I'm a big fan of. And I'm going to just say Xavier Isaac. For one, again, he had his brain surgery last year, which was devastating, healthy again, but people didn't know that, so everyone kind of counted him out. I said that he was going to have a bounce back this year, and he is, and I'm super excited about it. So how about another guy who just got injured, hasn't debuted yet this year, Josue Briseño. This is a guy who I've liked for a while. He became untouchable by the Tigers GM last trade deadline with Clark and McGonigal because he was so good. Struggled in AA, then got hurt, but again, he's still super young, and I think in his own way, this injury is kind of getting him off the grid, and when he comes back, he's going to crush the ball and show everybody that they're wrong. Next up, how about Yoenis Cespedes of the Boston Red Sox? He had a really good pro debut, then he struggled last year, and now he's back. He was hurt last year, so the power wasn't there. He's swinging and missing a lot. He's 20 years old in high A, so he's still really, really young, and he's hitting like 310, a couple homers, hitting the ball really well. The K rate's in the 25% range, but no big deal again for being 20 in A+. Is great. So buy back in on Yoenis Cespedes. People, he never really made it to the top of prospect list, but he was counted out after struggling for a year, and I really like him. Another one like that, Javier Mogollon. Now, this is a Chicago White Sox. He was never, again, top of the prospect list, but he was kind of exciting when he came out in a Bowman set, and White Sox fans liked him a little bit, and then he struggled last year mightily, respectfully, justifiably struggled, but now he's got 36% hard hit rate, hitting the ball well. It's like near 300 average, and again, he's young, so give him some time. That injury could have impacted him when he was playing too, so let's see how he does this year, but a guy who you could buy in really, really low. Risk, of course, he could fade back, but super cheap, so the reward could be there. And finally, how about a kid who's not a prospect? When you look at a guy like Curtis Mead for the Washington Nationals, obviously was a big prospect with the Tampa Bay Rays. You see a guy that it takes time, years, finds his way into a system that works for him, and now he's hitting 2-3 in that lineup. Now he probably won't in a full Washington Nationals lineup, but he's hitting the ball really well. Ronnie Mauricio. I always liked this kid for the New York Mets. A kid who could play second base, who is tall, powerful, deadly swing, strong, fast. He always had all the tools, and he never really had the massive swing and miss that came with all of that. And I just think the same thing. The Mets doesn't seem like it's working for him. The middle infield's always kind of moving around and tied up. But if you get him in the right system, which he will find soon, that's the type of kid I thought could be a second baseman who hits 25 homers as a top kind of fantasy type second baseman, because it's not really that deep of a position. So give me Ronnie Mauricio too. That's a list of very random prospects who, again, probably wasn't the ones you were thinking of when you gave me this question. Thank you to the biggest insider that did. But I think it's a great list of guys you can keep an eye on. 5 top 100 prospects I'm selling their autos. Essentially 5 top 100 prospects that I'm fading. You could probably guess this list if you've been a fan, but let's do it. First up, Walker Jenkins. He's way too high, still way too high, injury prone, power never developed the way it was supposed to. Even if he's a good contact hitter, that's not what people want from that type of prospect, so I'm fading him. Bryce Eldridge, I know he's not going to be a prospect much longer, but again, him and Spencer Jones, people tried to argue that Eldridge was different because similar to Isaac, he walked more, but the swing and miss was way too much. Way too much for me. I'm not saying he's not going to pan out. I'm not saying that this guy can never hit 40 homers. He absolutely can, but he is not going to be more than a 220 hitter. He's just not. And maybe I'm wrong. Just like Ethan Salas, it happens. Just like others, it happens. Probabilities tell me to fade it. Next up, same type of prospect, Lazaro Montes. People see the social media tweets, all of that. They're like, wow, this guy's hitting monster homers. If you go look at the stat page, he's hitting 220. He's got a 300 OPS. 300 OBP. He strikes out a lot. Isn't going to consistently put the ball in play. I don't care if you're in single A, double A, triple A. If you're playing at that level, you need to be able to put the ball in play consistently. He does not. Next up, Jefferson Rojas. Guy never really hit well. I'm surprised he's still a top 100 prospect. He's been there years. His value's not that high, but again, as a top 100 prospect, I just don't see him ever being a consistent impact everyday prospect. A guy who can be an impact, but I'm fading, and he's from the Twins as well. Emmanuel Rodriguez. Why? Too many injury issues, like way too many. I really like this kid's tools, but it's just a guy that you know, and maybe Aiden Miller becomes this if he gets hurt again, but those guys that just consistently are getting hurt, like Walker Jenkins, now Emmanuel Rodriguez, it's hard to have faith in them in long term as a guy who could be a superstar type athlete. So I'm fading Jenkins, Eldridge, Montes, Rojas, and Rodriguez. That is it for Instagram AMA. Thank you guys. No cover story this episode. Like I said, I really wanted to focus on prospects that you wanted to talk about. Check out the last couple. I did international market, valuing the international prospects, when to buy in, when to sell. I did top unranked prospects. I gave you 10 prospects that you need to follow that are outside of the top 100, top 250, which most of them aren't anymore. Prospect profiles on Aiden Miller and Roldy Brito. You find out why we like them so much. And then my last video, Bowman Value Buys, I covered some of the best prospects that you need to buy in on now from last week. Charles Davelin was one of my favorites on that list. Cole Carrick, a guy I mentioned that's getting called up soon. A lot of prospects. Tommy White, Tommy Tanks, who is one of my favorite prospects to debut soon, who also made my June call-ups, who's going to be a 30 homer low K guy. So check out all my videos. I'll save you that time by linking Bowman Value Buys. Again, join To The Bigs Insiders Instagram. We have so much coming. We're going to be on the field with the Mets in 2 weeks doing content there. I'm interviewing a couple young prospects from 2026 Bowman Baseball at the end of June and so much more. Guys, thank you. This is Sal from To The Bigs. Farm Report is your MLB prospect show. I can't wait to keep going.